gentle with yourself. You don't have to do it all the time.
No, but I'm not very good at that.
That's why I tell you this.
You sound like Brian right now.
We're in cahoots.
Yeah, well, he was very wonderful and took care of me today, and we had expired ibuprofen, so he went to Walmart and got ibuprofen. That's how you know it's bad, because I never take medicine. And then, well, yeah, because I'm also very bad at taking it.
Did he also get you peanut butter?
Had to make a meatball, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Had to trick myself, toss it in real fast. Yep, it's a whole thing. That's the rest of my life, Helen.
No fun whatsoever.
And now I sound like this. It's terrible.
You don't sound terrible. You don't sound bad.
Hopefully I don't start a coughing fit.
Oh, no.
But anyways, might as well kick it off and say, welcome, everyone, to another episode of, oh no, not another episode of, episode 30. Not another episode. Episode 30 of Millennial Mom Thoughts.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
I like that we're both wrapped up in a very warm, fuzzy
I had
blanket.
to grab my, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's cold.
It is cold again.
Terrible.
What the heck?
I hate it.
We had, I mean, it was like a gorgeous week prior. And then
we went to the park. We played outside.
Yes.
And now I'm grumpy.
I'm sorry. Yeah. At
Grumpy
least you're sick in the nasty cold and you got to enjoy the outside. Although this up and down weather probably is not helping any of us.
No.
But, you know, we ride the waves and we embrace Midwest fake spring for a couple days, and now we're back to actual winter.
It's cruel.
And then
It's cruel.
It is.
Darn groundhog.
It gets us every time. I know. What a stinker. What a stinker.
Stinky Phil.
Stinky Phil. Well, what are we? Well, no, what do we have to follow up, catch up on before we get into our topic
Our
tonight?
episode last week. I've gotten multiple people that have messaged me saying, hey, that was a really good episode.
Oh, that's
more
fantastic.
than just my mom and dad.
Oh, wonderful. I was also, this is reminding me that, you know, for perhaps new listeners, we may have, or, you know, who knows, but also just for our wonderful listeners too, reminding them that we have an email.
millennialmomthoughts.podcast@gmail.com. You can also DM us, as the kids say, on Instagram, millennial.mom.thoughts. And in the month of off February, I am not as active on Instagram because I deleted it off of my phone, but I will respond as best as I can. It might not be prompt, but I will respond.
Of course.
So, yeah. Send us things.
Send us
questions, comments, concerns, advice,
jokes,
recipes, anything.
Yes, love it. I would love that. But yeah, our conversation with Mike was awesome. I thought. And as we've now kind of had some time to listen back to the interview. I know you and I probably listened to back multiple times each because it was just, I mean, also the unedited raw audio was quite delightful too, because you and I had a lot of good times in the in-between moments that ultimately needed to go. But I don't know, any thoughts now that you've had a week to process the interview?
I just think it was a really, you know, a casual but needed conversation because, you know, I certainly talk a lot about screens, but I haven't talked specifically about how they impact kids with ADHD and how it's causing more harm and like Mike kind of said, you know, they're almost pushed on them like this will help regulate them. It's like it's actually doing the opposite of that. So yeah, I thought it was just a really good conversation, and it's already moving up on our top 10 episodes. So I thought that was kind of neat to every time I would check in on it, it's like, oh, it moved up a spot. Oh, it moved up a spot.
What's it current? I think the last I saw was like 7th place.
I think it's 6.
Oh my God.
5th or 6th.
I mean,
I did not check today, but admittedly I was in bed. Okay. Yes, it's in 6th place.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Good job, little episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Very cool. And I think too, just going off of that reflection, that it's nice to be in conversation with people that already get it. You know, that it's not like
Yeah.
that where I'm not
Yeah.
convincing you of anything. We're kind of starting from at least a similar
Right.
starting place. You know, we're all on board for this idea. So now let's dive deeper into
Yeah.
that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. But just having his knowledge and expertise
Mm-hmm.
to be able to share with, our community of listeners, I thought would be a great episode, and indeed it was a
It
great episode.
was.
And he will be back.
Yeah.
So he literally was like, I will come back. We messaged.
Oh,
He's
that's
like, you guys can
wonderful.
have me back. Like, yeah. Millennial
Yay.
dad
Our
joining.
millennial dad. That's
So that'll be
awesome.
fun. We'll have to come up with something more specific for his next episode.
Seems like he wanted to talk about Nickelodeon TV shows.
I
Will that
know.
at
Yeah,
least will be
reminisce
part?
about the 90s.
Uh-huh.
I could do that all day.
Yes, love it. Love it. I'm trying to think if I have anything really to
Yeah, any
catch up
updates?
on. Any updates? I've I've started a new thing on my Substack this week of posting a daily
Yeah, I
question of
saw
the
your
day, Monday
questions.
through Friday, which is something I do in my classroom for students. But as I'm kind of moving into this professional development space, I've been like, who's checking in on the teachers? Who's
Yeah.
asking the teachers? Just, simple get to know you questions sometimes, but also more reflective questions. Also trying to cultivate a space just for educators to connect with each other in that way. So it's really just an experiment right now, but it's something I'm committing to doing Monday
Yeah.
through Friday, and just trying that out. So that's been fun. It has already. I've connected with a few new people who,
Oh,
part of it is
cool.
just I'm trying to work the algorithm a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Isn't it
um,
frustrating that has to be part of it?
for
Like,
sure. Yes.
but
Yes. But
it
that's
can help
also
and
how
hurt.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How you
Yeah.
meet, make connections in these spaces. So it's been cool that I've had some positive feedback on it already.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a pretty typical week for us, other than the sickness coming and going. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it didn't hit me hard this week, but there were a couple nights where it's just like, ugh, just I'm ignoring the fact that I don't feel well because
Hmm.
I don't want to
I
feel
wish I could.
unwell. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm realizing in this moment as we're talking about updates, I might my news segment might be airing like right now. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
I don't know what
It is
time the
Sunday night.
news comes on, but I don't know. I'm realizing like that might be happening literally right now, maybe.
Well,
So if it does, I'll link. I'll send the link and
yeah.
we can add it in our show notes. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything at least on their website at the
Mm,
moment. But might be on the news right now. Might
you're
not. I don't
right.
know.
It is
Don't know.
tonight. You did tell us
Hopefully it
that.
actually happened.
Oh,
But
I'm sure.
I think
I'm
I
sure
think
it
it
will.
will. I think it
Yeah.
will.
Wow.
So hopefully that little recap, maybe it'll get people to come to the film as long as he
Yes.
includes that in the story, which
Yes.
is happening on February 28th, by the way, at 11 a.m. at Morton Public Library.
Mhm.
Please come.
Come if people want to come. What do they need to do? You have another sign up.
Yeah,
Should I
I have
link
a
it in
sign
our
up
show
form.
notes?
That would be great. I have a feeling, so I used the bigger room
Mm.
this time,
Hmm.
and I have a feeling I will not come close
That's
to filling
okay.
it.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want to submit the form, just show up. I have a feeling I won't be turning anyone away. But it helps me if you fill out the form because then I can connect other resources to you in the future. So,
Are you going to do the thing that Miss Emma does at Friday Friends where we have to count all the kids and count all the grown-ups
and
and you
then we
go
have to
around and go,
jump.
and then we have to jump that number of times
We have
unless
to
she's
jump
feeling tired. So then we only do 10 because
just 10. Yes, we will. It depends on how I'm feeling. I mean, I would assume in a week I'll be totally fine. But
my golly, I hope so.
yeah, I don't plan on jumping
Okay.
with adults in the room.
Okay.
But maybe we'll clap. I don't know. No, we won't clap.
Snaps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on there.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, topic wise, this kind of popped in my head not last week but the week before. And this isn't something that's like a negative or a positive. It's
Hmm.
just what this all started. I was talking with my mom about taking Lily to the grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and how it takes a lot longer when I let her walk through the store.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's at the point where it's like, I don't want to sit in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
I want out. I want to touch all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And my initial reaction was, okay, this is going to take forever. And I was right, because it does take forever. But I have memories of going to the grocery store with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
my sister, and I. And like that was an experience,
Mm-hmm.
and sights and sounds and smells, you know, all the sensory things. And so it just got me thinking, like, what's the cost, in
Mm-hmm.
air quotes, what's the cost of convenience? Because
Mm-hmm.
now we have like grocery store pickup where you can just do your order on your phone, and, you pull into your spot and they load it in your car. And I've certainly used the, Target pickup before, because it's convenient. But then I thought, well, what's being lost in that?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not a judgment, because I've used it. I'm not saying, hey, don't do this. But if we never bring our kids in spaces and where they're probably going to get a little rambunctious, like, what is that? What is that doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then just what's it doing for us as adults, and not going out in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
when you can literally order every single thing at the touch of a button on your
Mm-hmm.
phone, what does that do for your day-to-day human interactions? You could
Mm-hmm.
quite literally go days and days, and I mean forever, I don't know, days and days and days at a time without interacting with another human, if you just do everything,
Mm-hmm.
through your phone or computer.
Yeah. And I
So it
think a
just got
lot of
me
those
thinking.
ordering delivery services are, they're marketed as big time savers, so by not having to go out and walk through the
Yeah,
aisles or whatever the thing is, you're going to save all this time to do what?
right.
Probably
Right.
just rot in
Scroll on
your
your
home.
phone. Yeah. Yeah. And
But
again, it's not a, and I understand the need and the appeal. I
mhm,
wrote down, like, there are people with health conditions,
mhm,
and I'm even thinking, when I was a brand new mom, with a newborn,
mhm,
I did not want to go in the store with a
mhm.
brand new baby. Like, that was a, well, and then with Camden I didn't, because it was it
Right,
was
that
COVID.
was middle of the
So
panty. Yeah.
yeah, it was, Brian went out. I
Yeah.
know Camden and I never went to a store for like the first year of his life. We
Mm,
we never went to a store.
mhm,
And then it was kind of scary the first time we did it.
mhm.
I think it was Walmart the first time we went to a store. And he was like, "What is this?" He was just over
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and we went, through the toy aisle and
Uh-huh.
just looking at all the things, and
So this was a few years before, and cakes, cakes, and
yeah.
cakes, and
Oh my
cookies, and
gosh.
cookies, and
At
cookies, and
Costco.
cookies,
Yeah.
and croissant.
Croissants and croissants. And
It's
gosh,
one of my favorite Camden videos.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to link that, just the audio.
It
But
is.
there is a moment that Camden and Brian went to Costco, and Camden was just naming all the things, but in song. And so he's singing cakes, 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 cookies and cookies, 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 cookies. And then he got to croissants, which is a harder word to say. And it was like,
Yeah, I can't say it.
croissants and croissants. It's just
It's
the sweetest video.
amazing. Yeah.
But those
Yeah.
things can be lost,
Hmm.
if you're only ever doing ordering. So
Yeah. And I'm about, I'd say seven, I'm definitely not 50-50, like pickup versus going in the store. I'm probably closer to 80-20, like 80% in-person shopping,
oh,
20% I do
okay.
an Aldi's pickup.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, the convenience is,
Yeah,
especially
totally.
with the baby, and especially in the
The getting
early
out of the
newborn
car
days,
and the
the
cold
all that,
weather, and
yes.
yeah,
Although
yeah.
half the time at the Aldi's, it did end up being like, I've been sitting in my car for 20 minutes. The
Right.
app says that I've already been, like, they've already brought me my groceries and there's no phone number to call. So I guess we're
Yeah.
going in. So that's happened. And that's certainly
Yeah.
a cost of
I
convenience,
was
because
gonna
it turns out
say.
that's not convenient. But, I do love grocery shopping too. And Violet certainly enjoys it right now. She makes a lot of old people's day
Yes,
as we're
same for Lily.
walking around, just waving, waving, waving.
I bet.
But I like what you said too about, thinking about my own childhood shopping memories, because yeah, it was an event, especially
Yeah.
we, believe it or not, did not have a Walmart in Morton until I want to
Oh.
say 2025, I'm gonna guess. Not 25, sorry,
Oh, I
2005.
was like, I that was just a couple years ago, Helen. I've
That
been
was
going there. I
no. 2005-ish.
2005.
Someone
Okay.
can correct me on that, but for a
So where
while,
would you go? Kroger?
either East Peoria
Oh,
or
East Peoria.
Pekin for Walmart. But
Gotcha.
then, yeah,
Gotcha.
otherwise Kroger for your groceries or Thompson Food Basket when we had that, or Sullivan's before it was Kroger. So,
Oh,
we
okay.
had our own little evolution of stores. But
Yeah. It
going to Target, that I also remember being a
was a big
big
deal.
deal because that was be out in Peoria, there before the East Peoria one opened. Um, yeah, and just going through the aisles, seeing all the stuff, wondering what mom was gonna let you actually get.
Yep.
And I also have memories that Mitch thinks this is ridiculous, but my mom would let me open a box of cereal while I was
Oh,
sitting in
in
the
the
cart.
store.
Yeah, like as we're in the
I mean,
store,
you're gonna
going up and
pay
down
for
the
it.
aisles at the Jewel Osco. Yeah, that's kind of my thought. It's like it's not like a
You're
bag
not
of grapes
stealing
that's going
it.
to be weighed or something. It's just
Yeah.
the barcode's still intact. I'm not eating the barcode.
Not yet.
But he
Not
thinks that
yet.
that is absolutely
I mean, it's probably
uncalled
one of those
for.
that they're like it's frowned upon, but you're
Yeah,
literally buying it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know. It could just be like a one-time thing that she did in a moment of desperation that I
Oh,
now
yeah.
remember as like, well, when I was a kid, I always got to eat cereal. Or maybe it was a dream. Who knows? I've been known
Oh,
to.
you're not even sure if this is a
I mean,
real situation.
I'm
You have
pretty
to ask your
confident, but
mom.
I'm also I know myself, so yeah,
Yeah.
I do need to
Do you remember what
fact check.
cereal it was?
You know,
What was your go-to cereal back then?
what was my go-to cereal? Like, I went through
Cereals
phases.
changed.
I loved a Honey Nut Cheerio or a Team Cheerios. You remember
Oh.
Team
Oh,
Cheerios?
yeah, it
It
was
was
like
basically before they were
multicolored.
the what's it called
Yeah,
now?
like
Um,
multigrain
is
or
it, yeah, multigrain. It was
yeah.
basically that, but it was called Team Cheerios, and they had
Okay.
like soccer players on it
I was
because
gonna
they
say,
were
well, I think it
healthy.
was the
Or healthy.
Olympic, wasn't it like
Yeah.
Olympic Cheerios?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So those were amazing. I went through a honeycomb phase for a while. I
Yeah.
always loved my what are Cocoa Krispies.
Oh yeah, I
But I
loved Cocoa
will
Krispies.
also say it was not until college that I got to have Cookie Crisp at the college
Yeah, I
dining
never
center
got to
because we
have
weren't
Cookie
allowed to have
Crisp
Cookie Crisp. And every
because
once in
it's
a
literally
while,
cookies
because
in a
it's
bowl.
literally cookies, but then also you eat every other breakfast cereal and
Right.
you're like, oh, this is also just
It's
cookies in a bowl.
just a dessert. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but we would get Oreo Os,
Oh,
but those were
loved
only
Oreo
for dessert.
O's.
You couldn't have those for breakfast, but you could have
Yeah.
it for
Oh
dessert.
man,
And I also
those were
love a
so
dessert
good.
cereal, just like period. Like I'll eat a bowl of
Yeah.
Cheerios before I go to bed.
Reese Puffs.
Reese.
Loved Reese
Oh, I see. I
Puffs.
wasn't a big. I like the
Oh
Reese's
man.
Puff song, but
What's the Reese Puff song?
Reese's Puffs, the peanut butter chocolate flavor.
This is a real song or did you make it
Yeah,
up?
no, that was the commercial.
Oh, I don't remember this at all. Wow. Okay. Yeah, loved Reese
Anyway,
Puffs. Oreo
Cocoa
O's. Yep.
Puffs.
Yep. Basically any of the chocolate stuff. I would do Cracklin' Oat Bran. I
Oh
think my dad would
yeah,
get that sometimes.
yes.
And not to be gross, but my mom would be like, "Don't have too much of that." Because there's like a lot of fiber in it.
Yes, yeah.
But it was good.
My
Gosh,
parents ate a lot of grape nuts, and
okay.
that's one that I think I would probably eat now today. But as a kid, I was like, ew, grape
Well, I
nuts.
feel like there's
Like,
no
why would you
grapes in it,
call?
right?
No, there's no grapes. I don't even
Why is
think
it
there's
called
nuts. It's just
grapes?
like a grainy bran
Oh,
cereal.
nobody knows. That's a weird name.
Because I think I also conflated it with grapefruit, which was also
Mm,
nasty as a kid.
yeah.
But I love grapefruit now.
Yeah, cereal aisle was great.
Sorry, I could talk.
No,
Can
I
this become our
this
cereal
could be
episode?
our
I love
entire
cereal.
episode is
Yeah.
talking about childhood cereals. And the marketing on, the
Uh,
boxes and the bright colors and the
and
characters,
the
all the things.
general, yeah,
And apparently the theme songs. Um,
eugenics.
my memories also, going grocery shopping with my mom is we went to Joe O'Malley's. That was our grocery store chain. They were a local family, but they had little kid carts. So I got to
Oh,
push my own cart. And that, like,
nice.
I don't know anywhere that has those anymore today.
You're right.
But
Yeah,
those,
they
like,
have
I got to
special
put
carts to
things in
put
my
your
cart.
kids in.
Yeah.
Like the I don't even know if they have them at our Kroger anymore. Now that I'm thinking about it, there used to be the like car-shaped ones and
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
things. But, sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway, I keep
got to
cutting
push
you
my own
off.
little cart. Sometimes I'd ram my mom's ankles. Sorry, mom. Depth perception, not good. I do remember a few look backs, like, seriously, quit running into my ankles. You're going to need to walk in front of me. But yeah, just all of those, are they something that shaped me for the rest of my life? I mean, probably not, but I do, I have memories of
Mhm.
those things. And so it just made me think, if I never take Lily and Camden, into the store and do shopping, even though it is harder, it is absolutely harder because we're grabbing all the things, we're asking, can we get this? And, Camden's now running through the aisle, like he can just get up and go. And,
Mhm.
especially at Target, it's like anything Lego, anything Monster, we're in the Hot Wheels aisle.
Yeah.
So, but I just was thinking about what's lost in
Mhm.
doing that. And I saw you wrote down frozen foods, so I'm curious
Because I was
what
okay,
your
so
take on frozen foods is.
thinking about this topic, I like tried to come up with two lists of like places where I take shortcuts or
Yeah,
use the convenient option and places where I like almost purposefully put friction in my life. Like I
yeah,
don't want the easy option. So like places I take shortcuts would be sometimes doing grocery pickup or like getting food order or a coffee pickup.
yeah,
Because that's one that I'm certainly I don't even need to say guilty of, but just something I do sometimes is like even if I'm going to the
yeah.
coffee place, I'm gonna do it
You're
on the app
enjoying
so
it.
that I can make my order specific and
Oh,
know that it's
yeah,
gonna go right. And it's also
yeah,
just more convenient to walk in and grab it than go up through the line. Um, but then, yeah, so then I was like, what else? I guess like just getting frozen foods versus like vegetables, like a bag of frozen
yeah.
veggies to roast versus chopping
Oh
vegetables.
my
That's
gosh.
all I meant with that. That's all
Yeah,
I came up with.
yeah,
'Cause yeah, we don't do a lot of fast food. I mean,
yeah.
obviously
Same.
vegetarian and vegan for a while. Like there's certainly not
Limited
many
options.
options out there, and those that are basically a sandwich full of goo. Um,
Yum. That sounds
it's
appetizing, Helen.
the
Please tell
Jimmy
us more.
John's number 6, no cheese, no mayo, is literally just here's a sandwich with. If they're generous, they'll put a good amount of avocado goo on it, which is not a bad thing. But then
Okay.
it's just like watery lettuce and out of season
Oh,
tomatoes. Add Jimmy peppers though. That always
okay.
gives it a little more flavor.
Okay.
Um,
I haven't had Jimmy
anyway,
John's in forever.
yeah, I
Where did they
haven't.
move to, by the way?
It's speaking of Kroger, in
Oh, it's
that
over by
shopping center by
Kroger.
the Kroger.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, kind of where the Hallmark store is,
Yes.
Monocle's, that little strip
Yes.
there.
Good
Yeah.
to know.
Um, and where was I going with this? That's all I meant by frozen foods because I was struggling to come up with like I'm sure there are other places where I do take the convenient option, but that's all I could come up with there. Whereas my list of like places where I make things harder on myself sometimes is long and many. So if you want me to just go through these,
Well,
I
I looked at your list and
yeah.
I did want to talk about the music and TV, videos
Yes.
and how that has evolved, just
Mm-hmm.
societally, like that has evolved. And I miss the process of going to the store and waiting for a CD to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And like there were times that so the store was called Karma near me, and it was kind of like a almost like a hipster hippie. Like they had not marijuana because that wasn't
Yeah.
legal, but like all the things surrounding,
Uh-huh.
like lots of
Yes.
tie dye, lots of
Uh-huh.
incense, and
Mm-hmm.
this shop. But I specifically remember like waiting. My mom or dad, well, probably my mom. My mom would drive me over there. It's like we would get there before the store opened and
Mm-hmm.
wait in line to go inside and
Mm-hmm.
get the CD. It was probably in sync. Let's be real. It was probably
So that
that's what
was
I
going to
was.
be my follow-up question. So,
Yeah, it. I know it was in sync for concert tickets because that was the other thing. Like
yeah.
you couldn't get concert tickets online.
Yeah.
You had to go to Karma
Oof.
and you had to stand in line and wait and then hope that
Yeah.
you got there early enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the one hand, like, yeah, it's great that you can just press a button and do it automatically, but where those experience, like, kids, they will
Mm-hmm.
never know that.
Yeah, because
And
that's also just community building. It's
it
going to a
is,
shared
you
space
stand
because
in
we have the
line with
shared interests at the
people
same
and
time. Yeah.
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 Again, so it's not a negative or a positive, maybe, but those types of experiences where you are kind of forced
Mm-hmm.
to interact with other people
Mm-hmm.
um, are being lost at the convenience of these online streaming services. And like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't own any other than my old my CD collection.
Yeah.
It's still at my parents'. I don't own any physical music or movies
Mm-hmm.
past 2000 and I don't know 11 or 12. So anything that's come out, like, I got Netflix, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what year Netflix started just streaming, because
Yeah.
I never did this. Did you ever do the subscription where
No,
they like
no, I
mailed
thought
it to
that
you?
was ridiculous.
I never did that
And
either.
then I thought
But
streaming
then,
was ridiculous because we have a family video. And then within like a year, it's
yeah,
like everything is, I feel like
everything's
it
streaming.
kind of happened. So I don't know if I would say rapidly. I guess I remember that kind of transitional moment, like where I was doing all three, I would say, of like watching things live on TV or like as they aired
Mm,
on TV. Like when The
yeah.
Office, I'm thinking like for
Yeah,
me,
you
it
could
was
only
those
watch it then, or
prime
unless you
years
had
of the
DVR.
which we did not. I
We
invented
Oh,
DVR, however. If
you
this hasn't
did.
come up before, I distinctly remember
Breaking news, everyone. Helen
sitting
invented
in the back
DVR.
seat of the van while waiting for my brother's guitar lesson to finish and explaining to my mom this like what if your VCR could record the TV?
Well, I think it could. I
It
think you
could.
could set a
It could.
timer.
But it was like, but what if it was like you didn't have to, set that
Oh,
like it just knew what your show was and
oh,
all that.
Helen, you were before your
So
time.
yes, I just always, want to put that out there, make the record clear that I did invent
Yep. Send checks
DVR.
to
And where was I
make
going with this though? That yes,
music,
send me your
movies.
money, music, movies. That there was, I feel like, a period which for me was through high school. Because I'm remembering the friends that I would like, we'd watch The Office. You'd come to school the
Yeah,
next day and talk about it, right?
right.
And then over the weekend, say we'd get together and okay, we're gonna go to family video. What are we gonna watch this weekend, right? So we'd rent the thing, or if we were watching
Mhm.
a series, we'd rent the next disc, right? Because if you were doing a TV series, sometimes they
Oh,
like
yeah. Did you guys
rented
have a
them in.
Blockbuster, or was
We
it
didn't
just
have
Family Video?
Blockbuster, just
Oh,
family video. We used to have a like locally owned place called Second Cinema, where the
oh, okay.
Great Harvest Bread Company is now, which is
R.I.P. Great Harvest, though. What's
it.
going on
Are
there?
they fully RIP'd?
I mean, I don't
They
know.
had a
They haven't.
fire.
I know, but
Yeah.
nothing's happened.
Hmm.
They're, I hope they come back. I
Yeah,
like
me
their
too. Me too.
their
Because they
scones
do
on
have a
Wednesday.
good veggie sandwich option.
There you go.
Um,
But yeah, we had Blockbuster. I
yeah.
think there was a Family Video maybe, but Blockbuster was closest to us. So that
And we
was
had
like
streaming
every
at the same
Friday.
time though too. That's what I'm also thinking. Like when I'm thinking about my high school hangs, it was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay,
and
so
then
you
this
had
friend had
streaming too.
Netflix. So if we're at her house, then we're gonna be streaming the limited things that were on there. There you didn't have every option under the sun. And I feel like
Yeah.
now it's where you have every option, but you need every service in order to get
Yes.
the thing that you want. And that's what has ultimately really started to frustrate Mitch and I over here. And that, it's also a budget thing, but paired with the
Right. It
realization of
adds up.
like, we have all these things and we're not using them.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense to, I mean, it makes sense to the companies because you're just on a recurring
Exactly.
fee
They
that
hope you
you
forget about it.
you absolutely do forget about. So yeah, we kind of started the new year and like canceled basically every service except for Dropout, which is my Christmas gift to him. It's like a independently
Oh, I don't
run
know what that is.
comedy network thing. It's like College
Okay.
Humor. It's the people from, if you remember collegehumor.com.
Vaguely, yeah.
They had like a bunch
I'm
of
sure I saw some videos.
sketch
Oh,
comedy and
yeah.
improv and just
There was a
comedians and
Will
stuff.
Ferrell one with a little girl that came to the door,
Yes.
and she was like trying to get his rent.
Vaguely remembering this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pearl. Her name was Pearl. She had a
There
little
you
blue
go.
dress. Maybe it was blue. But yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
was
So
just so
it's
out there. I
those,
remembered that. I was like, this
yes,
is so
yeah.
bizarre.
A lot of their stuff is, but a lot of they've got some funny stuff. So it's like, okay,
Okay,
well,
so you've
we've got
subscribed to
that,
that.
and then I think we still have access to one or two things like through family, and then we're
Yeah,
kind of
so
like, okay, and
there's
if
sharing going on in my
yes,
family.
yes, for sure. And then if there's a show that we know we want to watch and we're gonna like watch it for this month, then we'll get a subscription for the time
Yeah.
that we need it, and just being more intentional about that.
Yeah.
And
It
we're
does
like,
add up.
it adds
And they
up.
keep raising the prices. Like
Hmm.
it feels like every month because
Hmm.
they've got you.
Yeah, exactly. You have really no say in it, and yet it feels like a necessity
I know.
your life. And I imagine that as Violet gets older, I imagine it's a different story with kids too, because there's an
Yeah.
expectation of these things that they want or they've gotten used to. And I'm currently, by the way, listening to the audiobook of Emily Churkin's book,
Oh,
The
screen time
Screen Time,
consultant.
yes. And what is it,
Yeah.
The Screen Time Solution? Is that the
Or
name of
screen
this
time.
book?
Yeah, sorry. She
That's the name of
goes
the
by
book.
screen
Yeah.
time consultant,
Yeah.
but screen time solution.
Um, and that is one of the things she talks about. I think one of the most interesting discussions I've listened to so far is about, the difference of watching TV, having to argue with your siblings about what show you're going to watch and,
Right.
you know, inherently developing those conflict resolution skills versus having every single option at your
Endless
fingertips
options.
anytime and to the point where multiple kids can be holding multiple devices, watching whatever they
Exactly.
want, whenever they want it. Um,
Yeah, there's no friction there.
no friction at
It,
all.
yeah.
Exactly. And she also uses the term snowplow parenting, which I'm not sure if she coined this or
Yeah, I
if,
don't know.
but we talk about helicopter parents of the past who like
Yes.
would swoop in anytime
Yeah,
there's a problem, right? She says now we just have snowplow parents who are pushing all the problems out of the way before the kid even gets to encounter
exactly.
that problem. So yeah, I think there is
Which
such a
removes their
which
confidence.
exactly.
It
And I
doesn't give
feel it
them a
from a
chance
parenting
to,
perspective, of course, of like, well, I don't want her
yeah,
to feel hurt and harm and, bad,
right.
of course, but
But look how
also I
you turned
fully
out.
understand the importance, yeah, of
Yeah,
facing conflicts and not always getting what you want and having to problem solve and figure things out. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, yeah. And thinking about that specifically with TV and streaming and stuff. Um, it's just
Well, I remember talking to you about how I started taking the remote away from camp. You know,
mhm,
we have Apple TV,
mhm,
and I noticed it didn't take long at all. He would scroll on
mhm,
the TV because there's endless options. It's not a DVD player where you hit play and then that's your only choice. It was, I'm going to scroll and I'm going to get these little, they give all the previews. So I'm
mhm,
going to get these little previews for every single show over and over and over. And that's what he was watching.
mhm,
It's like, that's not good. That's not good for your brain. And so I would pick a show, because he gets to watch shows, especially when I'm tutoring students after school. It's like, there's your hour to get to
mhm,
watch a show. But we're going to pick one and then I'm going to take the remote with me so that you can't, because he would also like fast forward and go
yeah,
back and like you're going to watch it all the way through. So, that didn't exist when I was a
mhm,
kid. And sure, you could rewind and fast forward, but man, that was clunky and you couldn't stop on the exact spot you wanted. And,
mhm,
you know,
yeah,
I do think about what what am I do he doesn't have the experience that I did
mhm,
of having to choose from a smaller selection
mhm,
of, well, for me it was VHS tapes. VHS tapes of like, this is what I want to watch.
mhm,
And he has endless choices.
mhm,
Now, granted, he doesn't actually have endless choices because there's a limited amount of shows that I will let him watch
yeah,
on his own, if I'm not in the room because it's something that I've already pre-screened. But yeah, there's not the excitement or the thrill of, will that movie be there on Friday night at the store to rent and take
mhm,
home and watch on the weekend? Like, will that be there? This
mhm,
new movie that came out? It's like, well, now it's there because it only was ever streamed, sent to streaming services.
mhm.
Maybe it didn't even hit the theaters. I don't know.
Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot about like why it is that you and I think a lot of other people around our age, like, are so interested in these conversations and critical about technology use and stuff like that. Because I think as millennials, we are in this in between generation
Yeah.
where I think we have experienced both,
Right. Life
where we're
without
able to
tech.
recognize like, oh, this is
And it
harmful,
was fine.
yeah.
It was fine to have life without tech.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I think I also briefly, awkwardly, I think, mentioned last week, Mitch getting an iPod and going to the
Oh, yeah.
library and getting
Yeah.
CDs and stuff. And it's almost like we're taking several steps back, like we're because we also canceled our music streaming services. And
I know. I think about it.
I will see. I haven't landed on a solution for myself yet because I don't have enough storage on my phone to just like use
Yeah,
my phone to store all these files, that we have.
exactly.
But do I have another device right now? Like not currently. So I play a lot of records in our house because we also have a record machine because we're, like hipster cool like that.
Yeah, very hipster cool.
But
But records made a comeback.
yeah, oh,
We
100%. And
didn't
that's, yeah.
have that as, my
Mhm.
dad, well, talking about records, I don't even I don't even know the total. It's something like 10,000. I don't
Oh
know.
my
It's something way
gosh.
up there. He collects them, but just that experience of
Yeah.
like, and it's the same even I think for us with CDs, like
Yeah.
opening the CD,
Uh-huh.
unwrapping it, reading the liner notes,
Mm-hmm.
reading the lyrics, and
Mm-hmm.
going start to finish the whole
Mm-hmm.
CD and experiencing the whole CD
Mm-hmm.
at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and or just repeating it over and over. I can distinctly remember listening to the Destiny's Child album, Writing on the Wall, all the
Yes.
way down to Florida and back.
Oh
And
my
I knew
gosh.
every single word to
I bet
every
you did.
song, and probably still do, to that CD because I just listened to it
Yeah.
over and over. I just couldn't get
Yeah.
enough.
Yes.
And like, maybe that's not a normal way to do it, but but
No,
listening to
that's,
it start to finish. But I did the
yeah.
same thing for NSYNC.
That
Like I
was
couldn't get enough. I loved it and I wanted to listen to it.
John Mayer, Room for Squares. I
Oh,
think
that's
also it was
another
the
good one.
first CD that was like all mine that like
Mm,
wasn't a kid's CD,
yeah.
but was
Yeah.
like, this is a cool CD. And there were Kansas trips that, yeah, whole way out, whole way
All the
back.
way there.
That
That's
is what I
funny.
had on my Walkman or Discman.
That's the first CD that I played in the car when I first started driving.
Wow.
If
Cool.
I'm remembering right,
Yeah.
I think that's the first, like when I drove by myself for the first time in the
Hmm.
minivan. Although
Dang.
there wasn't a CD player in there, so I must have had one of those like cigarette
Like,
lighter converter things.
okay. Or the tape converter.
Or
Did
yeah,
you ever
or the
have
tape
that?
converter.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely had one of those. And then eventually the iPod would plug into the
mm-hmm.
cigarette lighter
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have like this little FM transmitter, and every once in a while you'd get to an area and it's like, all right, I gotta change the
Yep.
station because it's getting all
Yes.
fuzzy.
Oh,
So
yes. Amazing. And that's,
yeah.
I still have my somewhere. I think it survived the move, my thing of CDs that used to be my like
Yeah.
car CDs
Yeah.
was my, I guess my first car well, first and second cars had CD players. And other than all the different ways you could finagle an iPod and your phone and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like didn't have Bluetooth by any means.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I was just on my CDs, but now my car does not have a CD player. And I
I know they don't
remember
do it
about
anymore.
3 years ago being like, that's fine. No, I don't need a CD player or whatever. And now I'm like, I
I
wish I had
want
a
it.
CD player. Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
listen to Room for
Room for Squares.
Squares, Continuum.
I know.
Um,
Gosh, what a good album.
yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah,
also, yeah.
yeah. It's there's just a lot of things to consider, and
There's a lot of things
maybe
to
it's
consider. Yeah.
trying to figure out ways to cut back every once in a while on the
Mm.
convenience so that you do experience that friction,
Mm-hmm.
or at least share it with your kid. Depending on the age of your kids, it's
Mm-hmm.
like bring them into the grocery store. I know it's hard. I I hands up. It's hard.
Mm.
Raise my hands. But I know that even though they might not remember that specific trip, they will remember going to the grocery store with me
Give them cereal and they'll remember.
and open up a box of cereal and just let them have it. Yeah. Camden would probably prefer a box of Hot Wheels over cereal.
Oh
So
my gosh.
he won't eat cereal. What is
What?
wrong?
Oh,
I don't know. He's got
have you
weird
tried
food things.
Oreo Os?
I don't want to give him Oreo O's because then he'll, please, can I only eat Oreo O's? Yeah, I'd like to get him just to eat noodles, but we'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to look at the other things that I wrote.
Yeah, this is one of
Oh,
those
that
kind of all over the
webinar.
place episodes, but yeah, you want to bring it home with some talk about a webinar that you
Yeah, so
attended?
last week I went to, gosh, it was so good. It hasn't been sent out yet, but I will post it. It was Untangling EdTech.
Mm.
And it was a principal of a middle school in Kansas who just this semester, or end of last semester, start of this semester, ended their one-to-one
Mm.
Chromebook program and said, we're not sending them home with students anymore. It's a public middle school. I think she said they're like about 1,000 or so. And so her and Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath, who who's I love saying his
You
name.
love to say.
Um,
Take
he was
a
on it.
sip of your coffee.
Yeah. And gosh, now I'm blanking on the other man's name. He's a teacher. I think he's in Canada. Shoot. I will have to, we can post it in the show notes. But her name's Inga Esping, the principal of this middle school. And she was talking about, and so was Dr. Horvath, talking about like these learning management systems, like, Google Classroom, Schoology. They are removing the students' abilities to practice their executive functioning skills. And I thought that was interesting after we had just talked to Mike about this. And I almost embarrassingly, I didn't think about it that way. Speaking of friction, like having to write things down yourself in a planner versus it just automatically pops up, assuming the teacher put it in on the calendar, that eliminates the student's ability to practice their executive functioning skills. And so what are we doing by using these systems that, say they're convenient, but they're also a huge wealth of data on students, and, data privacy gets into it. And I used to kind of roll my eyes at people that were talking about data privacy, thinking they're, kind of weirdos. Now I'm one of those weirdos, and I think highly about it. And it's, all of these ed tech systems are collecting and then sharing data about our kids. And so just that piece alone, I wrote it down because students not being able to practice those moments of friction, those moments of, oh, did I write this down? I've got a quiz next week. Did I get it into my planner? That is eliminated by these learning management systems. And
Yeah,
again, it's maybe I understand the convenience, and I understand it now, from a parent's perspective, working with junior high and high school students, like it can help parents keep up with things that are going on in the classroom. But it also eliminates students' ability to do it themselves, because I've seen it happen where it's like mom or dad say, you have this due, you have this due. And so it's not letting the child, practice that on their own. And so that was a
100%.
kind of a big eye opener for me. Like these learning management systems, yeah, they can do a lot of things and they can house a lot of things, but they're not letting students practice these skills that they need past school.
Yeah, no, and that actually comes up in Emily Churkin's book as well, that exact point too about planners
Yeah,
and what ed tech often takes away from our
yeah,
students. And it's so true, though. I feel like over the course of my teaching career, I follow a pretty like set structure of lessons, and it's nothing unique or anything, but like I always at the beginning, preview what we're gonna be what's coming up ahead, and then at the end of class always making sure to like clearly state here's what you need to do for tomorrow type thing, right? Like it's on the slide or I'm gonna say it. And like
right.
at the beginning there were planners out, we were writing it down, we were checking in, we were sending emails, oh sorry, I think I missed the date on that, could you remind me
Mm-hmm.
what the date is, right? All these great things that like I can't let this stuff go. I still keep a planner. I write down every
Yeah,
teeny
yeah,
tiny task of my day and when everything's coming up. But to now, yeah, it's like it's almost just performative. Like I'll say, all right, and for Wednesday, make sure you read chapter 4, section 3. You're going to fill this out and do this. Does anyone have any questions? Always just blank stares
Right.
because they know it's on the Canvas, which is what we use at ISU, which it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also then that burden of like, if I forget to publish the
Right.
assignment
Right.
or if I put the wrong due date, like there have been times where I messed up, put the wrong due date or whatever it was. So then like most of the class didn't do the assignment and I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Hmm.
sorry. That's on me. Yep, I forgot I didn't put the right date."
But
And now look, it's like, "No, it's not. It's in the syllabus. I said it
yeah,
in class. I asked if you had questions. Like I
well, they're
did
not
my job,
reading.
but now there's so
Yeah.
many more jobs that teachers feel this burden that I
Yeah.
have to do all these things and put it in all these places that then yes, we also feed into that of like, well, of course the student didn't do it. They didn't see the right date or it wasn't on the online calendar because it's just
Yeah.
not the norm anymore, to hold yourself accountable to those
Yeah.
things.
And
But
that didn't,
yeah,
learning management systems like that didn't exist.
yeah.
When I was a student,
Right.
I didn't have an online
Hmm.
platform,
Hmm.
certainly, yeah, not in high school.
Yeah.
Um, and it was on me to
Hmm.
write those things down. And sometimes I didn't.
Hmm.
And sometimes had
Oh,
missing
baby.
assignments. And
Oh,
that didn't
nightmare.
feel good.
No.
And so I
And so
didn't
you
want to have
learn
that
from
happen
that.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's interesting. Now I also think about my own journey as a student. I guess I was also in that transitional moment of LMSs, of
Yeah.
learner management system, because when I started college, we started using D2L, which is it Desire to Learn? I think
Oh, I don't
Desire
know.
to
I don't know that
Learn.
one.
They may have gotten bought out by someone else. I feel like I don't hear it talked about all that much, but it was new to campus when I was a
Yeah.
freshman. And there was a clear divide between professors I had who like embraced it, we've needed this for
Mm-hmm.
years type thing, versus like
Not doing
there's
it.
nothing on there. Yeah, not doing
Yeah.
it. Don't even go to that page because you
Yeah.
won't see
I think we use
anything.
Blackboard at Ball
Yes, yeah,
State.
Blackboard was
Yeah.
also right. Yes, yeah.
But I
So it's
don't
interesting.
remember getting in there a whole lot. I think even though it existed,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that things were regularly
Mm-hmm.
posted in there just because maybe that wasn't a widely, yeah, I don't have memories of going
Yeah.
in there
And
like
it
to find things.
it varied from class to class, at least like in my
Yeah.
experience, like I said,
Yeah.
but that also meant that like I needed to figure out how to adapt my organization to
Yeah.
each class. Whereas now, I think about teaching high school and experiences where students would be like, well, how come you don't do this like this teacher? Or how come they don't
Mm-hmm.
do this like you do? And it's
Yeah.
like, well,
Oh,
because
there's a wide
we're different
range
teachers and we
of
approach things
Schoology
differently,
use.
but
Yeah.
they expect because it's all through the same system and parents too.
Parents,
I've gotten
yes.
that feedback too, which and Morton was the overall reasoning of why we got Schoology in the first place, at least the way it was explained to me, was because during remote learning, some had
Yeah.
Google Classroom, some
It was
didn't, some were doing this, some were
inconsistent.
doing that. It was inconsistent, so let's get one shared system. But regardless of using the same thing, the same
Yeah.
platform, like everyone is
Yeah.
still going to use
Use it
that in
differently.
wildly different ways because, hey, also teachers haven't been trained in how to use this system.
No, no, they
And so
haven't.
that's
And that's one more thing to do.
one more
I
thing. Just
think, parents and students don't realize the amount of time
mhm,
that creating a course within,
mhm,
especially one from scratch. Now, if you continue to use the same one year after year,
mhm.
well, then it already exists and you can just kind of modify dates. But still,
But then also, is that
then,
authentic teaching?
well, right.
It can be. Totally depends. That was
It
not shade.
no,
But
and I think I understand again convenience. I
hmm
understand the convenience,
hmm
but now I'm thinking of the data
hmm
piece, and then giving students the ability to do these hard things on
hmm
their own.
hmm
And I think for teachers, it is probably difficult when it's parents emailing saying, "Hey,
hmm
you didn't post this," you
hmm
know, I this didn't exist. Like my kid didn't know to do it. It's like, well,
hmm
we talk't about it in class. So
hmm
it's that fine line of
Where does the learning
advocating for
happen
your
anymore?
kid,
Where does the
but
what is
yeah,
school?
what's the
Like
purpose
it's
of
not just what
education?
happens in this building anymore. It's expected
Right.
that it exists in this
Yeah.
amorphous digital space.
Yeah.
that
I wonder what would happen if, you know, and again, this is not unique to Morton. We're certainly talking about any school district because this is just everywhere. What would happen if you just eliminated an LMS and went back to these basics? Like what would that look like?
Yeah.
There would
And
be a period of some tough times
yeah.
and some missing assignments, and I'm sure that would happen.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
would it ultimately end up benefiting students and parents? Because then parents can't check it all the time. That's the other piece.
Yeah.
It's like
They
constantly monitoring and getting to an assignment before their kid does, you know,
yes.
you know,
Yeah, I can
and
speak from
perhaps
experience
doing the
in many different
assignment.
ways. Yeah, of getting like questions, and it's like we didn't even.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the middle of class right now.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to teach.
So it's on
But
parents too to like, do you want
yeah,
your kid to learn how to do things independently? Or kind of like the snowplow, like, do you want to remove any barrier to stress and, you know, frustration and a difficult situation? Where is the growth in that if you eliminate all obstacles?
where is it?
Where is
I
it?
don't think there is any. And I think that's
Yeah.
concerning. But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this has been this is not where I thought our conversation was going to go
Yeah.
tonight, but I think it's brought up a lot of things that have been kind of simmering on my
Yeah.
back burners perhaps lately. And that's kind of a mixed metaphor. I don't know where
What are
what
you
these
cooking on those
simmering
burners,
things, it's
Helen?
bubbling up. It's what am I
Bubbling.
cooking? Man, I made the best soup tonight. And I know
Oh,
that's not what you're asking about, but it
do
was a
tell.
recipe that Mitch saw online and I was like, yeah, I'll make that. It was like a tomato chickpea stew
Oh,
and had ginger in it, like tomato,
okay.
chickpea, ginger,
That would probably
spinach.
clear my nose right now.
Yeah,
The
yeah, it was
ginger and
uh-huh. It was
yeah,
pungent, but we loved it. Violet loved it. It was a good meal for a bath night. I feel like
I bet. Yeah.
I've gotten more like,
That's
oh, sorry,
that's
it's not a
chili
bath
nights
night.
here.
We cannot have pasta tonight.
Yeah. Whenever there's chili, that is Lily's bath night
Mhm.
because it gets everywhere.
Yep. No, but what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is just all these like seemingly disconnected things I think about as far as parenting, education, technology,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm witnessing in the classroom now, what I remember from back in the
Right.
day. But
Right.
then soon I see that like, no, no, no. These are in fact all interconnected.
Yeah. And what
And
do you want for
yeah,
Violet? Like
yeah.
you know what is good for her development and so I think it's an interesting space for you to be in now in
Mhm.
higher ed and having worked in K-12, 9 through 12
Mhm.
and kind of seeing into the future a little bit. It's like
Mhm. I don't want
what's
this for her.
yeah.
Or like that's
Yeah.
putting it bleakly, but there are things that I'm like,
No, I've said the same. I
I
don't
don't
want
want
this for
that for
Camden and
her.
Lily. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. And I do believe though in that change is
Right.
possible. It is not inevitable that
Yeah.
kids are
And there
just
are good,
becoming
that's
yeah,
the other
oh,
thing. There are good teachers. This isn't
yes.
like
And there's good students too. And I
shaming
mean, it's
teachers.
not a good
It's
and bad thing.
right.
It's
It's
just
not
that
positive or negative. It's just this is
there's
what's evolved. But
yes.
is it something that needs to continue to stay this way?
Yeah.
Or can we scale it back and perhaps see better
Yeah.
results?
Are there
And
things that
I
we're doing that are getting in the way
yeah.
of learning and growth, not just academically, but as humans?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Is
Like there
yes.
are things, and
It
which means
is.
there are things we can change, which
Yeah.
is why we got to keep talking about them and figuring it out. And
And advocating for things that
I,
we want and believe
yes,
in. And yeah,
and we're doing it.
we're doing it. Okay.
Well,
Well, I am going to go to
get
bed.
out of here.
Oh, but first, speaking of, I don't even know. I didn't have a transition for that. Get outside. I know it's freezing again. Listen, I
Like
thought
I
I
don't
was
know
going
where
to
she's
say,
going. Oh,
speaking
it's just
of, no, I have nothing. My brain is all foggy. Yeah, it got really cold again. So unfortunately, you're going to have to go out with a coat on, but still go outside. Breathe that fresh air. It will wake you right up. And I think it's going to warm up by the end of the week. So you can still touch the grass.
and what do I have? I have to tell you that podcast music is by Brian Spickelmeyer. Jordan Spickelmeyer does social media, and she powers through a podcast even when she's feeling not so very great, even when her podcast co-host says, "Are you sure you do not have to do this?" And she's like, "I'm here, we're doing it." And who am I? Well, I'm Helen Plevka-Jones. I edit the audio, and we will catch you on the flippity flip.